You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shemaiah Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shemaiah Reed.
Hey, welcome to Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and today we have a true honor. We have another special guest in this one. He said a quiet storm in the green room, but he's the true quiet storm. He is someone who is not a stranger making history. At 23, Andrew Gillum, he became the youngest person ever elected to Tallahassee City Commission. He later served as mayor. Under his leadership, Tallahassee earned national recognition as an all-America city, a top city for entrepreneurs. But I can't waste any more time. I have to get into the reason why he's on today. He is a co-host of Native Land Pod on iHeartRadio. First and foremost, Andrew, I know it's probably 10 more minutes I can do on your resume, but how you doing this morning?
Oh, man, get out of here. We don't need that. I'm just mesmerized. I feel like I should talk, quieter and more, I don't know, sensationally through it. But you got a voice for radio, brother. That's for sure. And thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time. I know you have a lot more on your resume and all the things that you've been able to do in leadership. But let's jump right into the podcast that you co-host.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, what is the mission and what you're trying to educate the audience?
Yeah. Well, in truth, Shemaiah, the education goes both ways as we quickly learn at Native Land Pod. But I'm excited each week in and week out to be with not only my co-hosts but people who were true friends. We've known each other for decades. When we were real young bucks, out trying to thrive and live our best lives in our early 20s. Angela was on Capitol Hill at the time when I first met her. Actually, I first met her, and this is probably TMI, because she and my childhood best friend were in law school at the same time and were part of the National Lawyers, so a young up and coming lawyers organization, and dated. And when they broke up, Tiffany and I stayed friends and have been friends ever since. And that's Angela and I. And then Tiffany, same situation, where minus the dating a friend, we worked together when I was young. She was a young journalist and I was a young elected official coming out of Florida. And she was covering some of the stories that were happening around the country for national, outlets, and we would all come back together through Native Land Pod, where Angela brought the idea to us, sort of have this conversation, bring in more of our generation and really all the generations we can touch back into politics. A lot of people say, I don't do politics. And Joy Reid reminded us several weeks back that if you don't do politics, you don't have to worry because politics are doing you. And that's a requirement for you to plug in, because what's being decided is impacting you not just every election cycle, but every day in and day out. And we try to demystify for people, what they hear from national outlets and from politicians themselves, which is it's just complicated. It's nuanced. It's very different. Well, it's to their interests to have you believe that this is beyond your reach. That way you stay checked out. And our job is to get people checked in. So we say this isn't beyond your reach. What they're just talking about in D.C. today will show up on your street corner tomorrow if we don't do something to disrupt it. And I know from having served as an elected official and run for governor of the third largest state in the United States of how difficult every day is for people to just, keep a roof over your head, food on the table, clothes on yours and your kids' backs. That you really do see getting engaged in politics as a luxury, but it isn't a luxury, because almost all the issues that you're talking about at the dinner table that night and throughout the day, the balancing of the bills that you're doing, I promise you relate back to some decisions that have been made that if we were paying greater attention, we could have impacted. And so if we can break people out of the malaise of it's just complicated and invite people back into, no, this is your community, this is your city, this is your country, and the people, the power of the people has always been greater than the people in power. We just have to realize it and start to organize and move accordingly. That's what we want people to know, particularly during this time where folks are feeling pretty downtrodden, stressed, and frankly unsecure and insecure about what's happening around them, this isn't a time to check out. It's a time to check in, to double down, to put your shoulder to the wheel. And each week we try to bring topics and conversation just as we will be having them amongst each other as friends. We do that over the podcast, and we try to invite the listeners into that conversation with us, every time. And we do it through humor and laughter and fun, but also through seriousness, and a commitment to facts and truth. And whether you agree or disagree with us, you can certainly arise saying that it was a nuanced conversation. I saw or heard perspectives that I didn't understand, appreciate, or hear before. And from that, we can build.
Once again, listen on Refocused Radio and talking to our guest today, Andrew Gillum, co-host of Native Land Pod on iHeartRadio. My last question I want to squeeze in real quick is the phrase reclaiming home. That hits deep. And to your point, there's a lot of voices on social media. I mean, it's a buffet line. Just pick your pick and, you're right there.
That's
what do you believe this podcast with your other co-hosts will help bring home for Black Americans and marginalized communities? Yeah,
well, one, I hope that it tells us and shows us that we are in community with others, that none of us are an island. None of us can get this thing done alone. And that you aren't alone. That if you join the community, you recognize that the same thing you've been thinking and feeling about a thing is reflected in tens of thousands of other people out there who are sharing your point of view, and hopefully you'll also be illuminated to the fact that there are a lot of ways to see a thing. We, between the three of us, me and my co-hosts, we can look at the same outcome of a thing and have a whole bunch of different inputs from where we stand. So we are trying hard to build community, and not isolation, which is what a lot of us tend to do when we're under deep stress and are feeling insecure where we are. And then I think, very importantly for us, we want people to know that these things, these issues, these problems are not too big for us. That if we lean in just a bit, which is what democracies require, our contact with it in order to maintain it, if we lean in, we might be apt to find common cause with people who we didn't think we shared common cause with. And from that, we can build power and start to change people and institutions and the people who lead those institutions, not by being separated and divided amongst us, but really by being more collectively united and recognizing that the enemy isn't our neighbor. It isn't the person who even has a different party affiliation than us. It's a set of institutions that are co-conspiring to create an outcome. And oftentimes that outcome is not in the everyday folks' best interest. So if we don't mobilize and get organized and start to respond, we're going to wake up realizing that we are waking up in a completely different place and environment and form of government than what we thought we had when we laid down. So yes, you must rest and sleep, but you must sleep in shifts right now. And Native Land is here to try to break that down and keep us in community with each other so that we can actualize the truism that the power of the people is greater than the people in power.
Once again, talking to Andrew Gillum, co-host of Native Land Pod on iHeartRadio. True honor having you on today. Like always, want to say thank you for your time, man.
Oh, man, Shemaiah, thank you. And keep doing what you're doing, brother. Inspiring.